Why learning English with the Bible is the secret schools won't tell you. Learning English with the Bible? Sounds crazy, right? But here's the real shock. If you keep making the same mistakes with words missing meaning, sounding unsure, you might be ignoring the right word. The word that's not just history or poetry, but a powerful tool to transform how you speak, think, and connect. Imagine unlocking English fluency and wisdom at the same time, all in just a few minutes. No boring grammar drills, no confusing rules, just real lessons that shape your heart and your voice. If you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or like something's missing in your English journey, this video is your wake-up call. Because Proverbs 1 isn't just ancient advice, it's the secret weapon your English learning needs. Stick with me, and you'll discover how to change your English forever, starting now. Have you ever said something and immediately wished you could take it back? Like a word that escaped without warning, and suddenly you saw the look in their eyes change? Proverbs 1 doesn't begin with rules. It begins with a call to wisdom, to listening, to choosing what kind of path your words will walk. It says to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. Every time you open your mouth, you're not just speaking English, you're building a path. But here's the thing. Is that path leading you toward confidence or toward regret, toward connection or isolation? Most people focus on grammar rules. But what if your transformation in English starts not with rules, but with reverence? The way you speak reflects the way you think, and the way you think reveals what you've been listening to. That's why Proverbs begins with the fear of the Lord, because from that reverence comes clarity, and from clarity comes fluency in life and in language. What if I told you that one of the biggest things holding you back in English isn't your vocabulary, but your voice? Not the sound of it, but the intention behind it. Proverbs 1 shows us that words without wisdom lead to ruin. Imagine walking through a dark forest. Your words are the flashlight. If you don't charge it by listening, learning, and reflecting, you'll keep stumbling. And here's the twist. Every careless word, every half-hearted expression becomes part of your story. Your words are not just tools, they are teachers. They tell others who you are, what you believe, and whether they can trust you. So the next time you speak English, stop, breathe. Ask yourself, is this sentence wise? Is it building something? Or am I rushing, reacting, regretting? This is the moment to change the way you speak, think, and believe. Because the right words, spoken from a heart shaped by wisdom, can open doors no grammar book ever will. And we're just getting started. Have you ever stopped to think that the people around you are shaping your voice, even when you don't notice it? Proverbs 1 delivers a sobering warning. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. Now pause. Replace sinners with negativity, bad habits, or empty talkers. That's what this is about. The voices you allow into your mind become the language you speak literally and emotionally. If you're constantly around people who complain, criticize, or cut corners, guess what? You'll start echoing that same energy in English, in life, and in faith. You might start using lazy words, filler phrases, or even self-doubt. Proverbs is brutally honest. Your environment isn't neutral. It's either shaping you toward wisdom or steering you toward destruction. So the real question is, who are you giving your ears to? Because eventually, their words will come out of your mouth. And that could be the difference between growing or getting stuck. Think about your English for a moment. Have you been copying the wrong voices? Maybe a friend who taught you slang that sounds cool but shuts doors in job interviews. Or maybe it's that YouTuber who makes you laugh but fills your mind with sarcasm and slang instead of growth and grace. Proverbs 1 tells us not to walk in the path of the wicked. It's more than morality, it's identity. Your voice becomes your brand, your witness, your tool. So what if your English reflected peace instead of panic, wisdom instead of worry? That starts with choosing mentors, not just media. It starts with replacing empty noise with empowering language. And this is why who you listen to matters more than what you memorize, because words don't just teach, they transfer. And the voices you follow now are crafting the voice you'll speak with tomorrow. But wait until you hear what happens when you ignore discipline altogether. Let me ask you something personal. How do you react to correction? Do you welcome it, or does it sting your pride? Proverbs 1 drops a truth bomb that most of us try to avoid. They refused my counsel and despised all my reproof. Ouch! That's not just about ignoring advice. It's about running from discipline. And here's the uncomfortable connection. Learning English is a lot like learning life. If you can't embrace feedback, you'll stay stuck. Think about it. You've probably made the same grammar mistake more than once. Maybe someone corrected you and you laughed it off, but deep down you felt embarrassed, so you stopped trying. That's exactly what Proverbs warns against. Rejection of correction leads to ruin. In English, in career, in relationships. But when you embrace discipline, something shifts. Correction stops being painful and becomes powerful. Like a GPS, it reroutes you. And every time you accept it, your fluency, both spiritual and spoken, gets sharper. Now picture this. A student hears a new word, tries it, fails, and gives up. Another hears the same word, mispronounces it, but asks, "How do I fix it?" That second student grows. The first one gets stuck. Proverbs 1 is begging us not to be like that first student. When you despise reproof, you're not rejecting advice, you're rejecting growth. And here's where it hits hard. So many people quit learning English because they expect it to be effortless. But Proverbs says the wise love correction. That's the real turning point. Discipline isn't a punishment, it's a path. And every mistake you face is a chance to walk that path with more clarity, more confidence, and more grace. So next time someone corrects your English, don't flinch, smile, say thank you. Because that feedback might just be the key that unlocks your next level. But even discipline is useless if you never pause to listen. Imagine walking through a noisy city, cars honking, people shouting, music blasting. In the middle of all that chaos, someone is calling your name, but you can't hear them because you're not listening. That's exactly what Proverbs 1 describes. Wisdom cries aloud in the streets, but no one pays attention. This verse hits different in our world of distractions. Social media scrolls, binge-watching shows, endless notifications. We're surrounded by noise and silence feels uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Wisdom isn't hiding, it's shouting. The question is, are you listening? Maybe your English hasn't improved, not because you're not studying, but because you're not focused. You're hearing English but not truly listening to it. Proverbs is calling you out. It's not just about how many videos you watch. It's about what you do with what you hear. Wisdom is right in front of you. But if you keep ignoring it, you'll keep repeating the same patterns. And one day the silence will speak louder than the noise. Have you ever tried to learn something new while your mind was somewhere else? It's like trying to fill a cup that's already overflowing. Proverbs 1 paints a powerful image. Wisdom is available, but we're often too full of pride, fear, or distraction to receive it. That's not just a spiritual warning, it's a language lesson. You can watch English tutorials all day, but if your heart is cluttered with anxiety, comparison, or impatience, the words won't sink in. You'll forget, freeze up, or fall into old habits. Really listening, requires humility. It means admitting you don't know everything, and that's where growth begins. Because when you tune out the noise, wisdom finds you. The same is true in English. Turn off autopilot, pause, absorb, repeat. Wisdom is calling your name through every English sentence, every correction, every Bible verse. And if you answer, your voice will begin to sound different. But what happens when you ignore that voice for too long? Let me take you to a moment no one wants to face: regret. That quiet pain when you realize it's too late. Proverbs 1 ends with one of the most haunting warnings in the entire Bible. It says, "Then they will call on me, but I will not answer. They shall eat the fruit of their own way." Imagine crying out for help, but the opportunity is gone. That's not just about life and death. That's about every time we delay growth, ignore feedback, or put off change. In English, this happens all the time. You avoid practicing, avoid speaking, avoid trying, until one day the job interview comes. The presentation arrives, and suddenly, you're not ready. You panic. You wish you had started earlier. That's the power of Proverbs. It speaks now so you don't regret later. Because when you reject wisdom, you're not just missing words. You're missing open doors. And some doors, they don't stay open forever. But you don't have to live in regret. Not if you choose to act now. Think about this. How many chances have you had to grow but said, "I'll do it tomorrow"? How many moments did you avoid speaking up in English, thinking you weren't ready yet? Proverbs 1 doesn't end in despair, it ends in decision. Yes, those who refuse wisdom face consequences, but those who listen, they dwell in safety and peace. That means every time you choose to learn a new word, to accept a correction, to listen deeply, you're rewriting your future. You're preparing your voice for the moments that matter. And not just in English, but in life and faith and calling. So what will you do with what you've heard? Let the regret of the past push you. Let the voice of wisdom guide you. Because the pain of discipline will always cost less than the pain of regret. This is your moment, not just to speak English better, but to speak with purpose. And now that you've heard wisdom's call, what will you say back? As we've seen, Proverbs 1 isn't just an old book of sayings, it's a blueprint for transforming how you speak English and live your life. The lessons about the power of words, the company you keep, the discipline you embrace, the wisdom you listen for, and the cost of ignoring truth are all keys to unlocking your full potential. Imagine what would happen if you started speaking English not just with correct grammar, but with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Which of these lessons moved you the most? Have you ever experienced the power of listening to wise words whether in English or in life? What's one change you're ready to make today to transform your voice and your future? I want to hear your story. Drop a comment below and let's start this journey together. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because the next video will dive even deeper into how Proverbs can unlock your English skills like nothing else. Let's grow, learn, and speak with wisdom together.